Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the best damn professional wrestling podcast on the internet. I am, of course, one of your two hosts himself, Odin's greatest creation, the gift of this generation, Mr. Perfection himself. I got Mrs. Perfection here. She's back from her hibernation.
What?
You were hibernating there for a while, and I got my guy in the chair, the Ned to my Spider-Man, Peacemaker to my Vigilante, the Foggy to my Man Murdoch, and it's Mr. Magic Fingers. Man, how you doing this week, man? How you feeling?
As you can see, I'm trying to get some physical therapy started early. So this is going
Yeah.
to be an interesting show tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be real
See how much I can
interesting.
maintain.
It's gonna be real interesting. So let's dive right into it, man. Monday Night Raw. Give me your big takeaways and let me know what you think.
I'm starting to wonder if they're going to do a who's the actual tribal chief story at one point,
Yeah,
because the fact that OTC is taking orders from his cousin,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
really who's really trying to be the man on top at the moment, for lack of better words.
That to me was probably the biggest takeaway from that episode was
Yeah.
Reigns was leaving and Jay said no, and he didn't call him Roman. That's what made it feel
He said
so.
Joe.
This is what made it feel
It got
so
personal.
real. Was he was like, no, Joe,
Yep.
get him, Moose.
Yep.
And he turned around and looked like, oh shit, okay. And he just beat the shit out of CM Punk. This to me, I mean, I know this is gonna be controversial, but this is my most looked forward to match for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like very quickly became my most anticipated match because it had one of the weakest builds, and now it's probably the strongest build other than Cody and Randy going into WrestleMania. Um, Drew and Fatu also have a very good build going into Mania.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's talk about
yeah,
that real quick.
yeah. Let's jump over to that real quick.
Let's talk about Jacob and Drew, because I have a strong prediction that it's not going to be Jacob versus Drew.
Cool.
Jacob's going to get taken out.
Mm.
He's not going to have a WrestleMania moment. That's going to lead to a bigger story. But I have a feeling Magnus is going to be going against Drew.
Oof.
And Magnus will give up his general manager position.
Yeah.
And with everything going on with the Vision, watch Oba beat Brock at Mania,
Mm-hmm.
which puts Paul Heyman in a tough spot.
Yeah. Very tough.
Paul Heyman is going to quit being the advocate for Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
He's also going to quit being the oracle or whatever you want to call him for the Vision. He's going to become the new general manager of SmackDown
I would love to see that.
and make it ECW Part 2.
Yeah. I would love to see that. I think that's the perfect spot for him. And with they're slowly building to it. And we can't have this match just on a random pay-per-view. I mean, you can't have that. He's already brought up the fact that Damon, who is Matt, who is Nick Aldis and Mickey James' son, should be ashamed to have Nick Aldis as a father.
Yeah.
We all know that it gets personal when you bring the kids into it.
that's a little much.
And I had an idea in my head. Speaking of kids, I hate to jump around. We were talking about Randy doing the punt, right?
Yep.
Tell me why. This is how sick and sadistic I am in my booking brain. Why do I want to see him punt Liberty's head off of her shoulders? You talk
If
about,
they get that involved,
oh my God.
Brandy's coming out if that happens.
Yeah.
She'll make her WWE debut at that point, whether it's contractual or not,
Yeah.
just to whoop someone's ass.
I really, and I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, well, he could punt Randy, but to me, this new version of Randy, because it is a new version. Yes, it's oh 09 Orton, but
100%.
he's a sick sadistic bastard.
Yep.
Arguably the most sick and sadistic we've ever seen him.
And I see him getting 15 at Mania.
Yeah, I do too. I
But
would
after
love to
Friday
see it.
night, the person I see coming to his aid to help him get it, Jelly Roll.
Oh,
Jelly roll.
Jelly Roll turns on Cody.
how awesome would that be? So you think that's who's on the phone?
I don't think that's who's on the phone. I think it's actually DiBiase on the phone.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, man. Oh my
He's gonna
gosh.
play that route.
Oh my gosh, we got to talk about that because there was an interview. Again, we're jumping around, but this has been a very impactful week to build a Mania. There was an interview that I guess one of his buddies did online, and in the background, Ted's on the phone with somebody,
Yep.
and he goes, "Hello," he's talking. All right, Vegas, let's do it. And the guy turns around and looks at him, and he goes, "Vegas, April 19th."
Yep.
That's the day of
That's day
WrestleMania
2.
night 2,
The 19th.
the 19th. That's the day of WrestleMania night 2.
That's before my birthday.
Yeah, it's the day before her birthday. And you don't know who Ted DiBiase Jr. is. He's the guy that got put up in all that tax fraud and debate or whatever, and then he got cleared of all that stuff. He was in a group called Legacy with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes.
His dad was $1 million man.
Yeah, his dad was Ted DiBiase, the guy that walks around and everybody's got a price.
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge Ted Jr. fan. I love him. I loved him even when he was doing the DiBiase posse bullshit in the parking lots of SmackDown.
Same time Cody had a bag over his face all the time.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Man, wrestling is so
Still
weird.
better than Stardust. I'm sorry.
It's way better than Stardust. But yeah, I think this episode in particular of both Raw and SmackDown. Now, you said in the group chat last night that you were kind of bored of SmackDown. I was watching it while playing Fortnite. So tell me why you were bored of it, and then I'll give my thoughts on it.
Because they're doing the exact same type of build up for Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, or not Damian Priest, but Aleister Black, which is basically Sami and Killer Cross. They're literally doing the exact same thing with that.
Yeah.
So I can see now that Sami, spoiler alert, Sami got the U.S. title last night.
Yes.
Even though he's supposed to have a match with Trick Williams at Mania, I can see Aleister Black getting in the way of that, making it a triple threat. Because he's still playing the mind games with him. But
is this where we get our ladder match?
It's the back and forth of Cody going after Orton. The refs and all the security getting in the way, but yet they still squirm through and whatnot. That went on for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like they ran out of something to do. Like they didn't have much time left before the show was over, but they just said, hey, let's just go try something. But it's literally the exact same thing they always do before a big fight.
Yeah.
Like, how many times are you going to allow someone to slip through all the security guards who are barely putting their arms out in the first place? So it's not like they're really trying to hold anybody back.
All right.
But that went back and forth about 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I can't agree with that. Again, I was playing Fortnite while watching SmackDown. Just crossed the 2,000 hours put into Fortnite, which is depressing. And the weird thing is, you guys, this is not wrestling related. I closed the game. Can you guys guess the number that the 2000s were in? 2003. That's the year. That's the year I was born.
Dang. You're at graduate high school.
Yeah. Holy shit, Drew.
Yeah, buddy. Damn. I'm old.
Gosh.
Yep.
Y'all both fucking old.
Yeah. 17 years old. I graduated high school.
We're getting old. Both of us. I'll tell you what makes me feel old, and this is not wrestling related, but it's something that I want to talk about because we're both video game nerds. We love video games.
Yep.
Can you guess the 3 consoles that now are considered retro at GameStop?
PS2?
Go up one.
PS3.
PS3, Xbox 360, and the Wii U are now considered retro consoles. You want to talk about making somebody feel fucking old?
Yeah, I just saw a thing earlier today. It was a regular Nintendo that had a joystick connected to the back of it, like a USB port.
Yeah.
Take that off there, lift up the screen, and it's like a built-in. They had those CD players that were travel.
Yeah.
Or the DVD players and had a small little screen.
Yeah.
This is a small arcade machine.
That's awesome.
And it played regular Nintendo games.
That's crazy. But yeah, man, I think this build for WrestleMania has been really good. I've really enjoyed it. I can't agree. SmackDown kind of felt repetitive. I wasn't a big fan, and I know you're not the biggest fan of Carmelo's title run, and I can agree. He kept giving the same people.
But I really think he's going to do a tag team, and him and Dragunov are going to be one hell of a tag team.
Yeah, they're gonna kill it. But I'm a Carmelo guy, so him having the title was really good for me because,
he definitely deserved it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. But it felt like he was only giving certain people the title shot. Yeah, they had the old guy from AAA that came in, and there was a few surprise matches in that, but it just felt like it was the exact same few people getting extra rematches.
Yeah.
Nobody knew all the time, like it was for Dragunov, like it was for Cena when he had.
Yeah. I mean, it got repetitive very quickly. My question is now that we have a new champion, which came out of nowhere, in my opinion, uh, it really diminished Carmelo Hayes because here's this guy who literally, I'm going to have a WrestleMania match. You just watch. Goes out there and beats him when Dragunov and him had a fucking instant classic the week before where arguably Ilya Dragunov should have won that. Yeah. I mean, it was just, to me, it was just a way to get Sami Zayn on the card.
Yeah.
And it pisses me
As
off.
soon as he had that conversation prior to the match, that he has to do something to get his Mania moment, and then all of a sudden he's the one that's going to have the match with Melo. I knew he was going to win.
Yeah.
That was still a good match.
It was still very good.
Still just kind of upset that Melo lost.
Yeah. My big question now, we have Trick Williams, who you better respect his lemon pepper steppers, number one. I think he is probably the most over in terms of organically over in the WWE right now. Because he's a bad guy, but he's one of those bad guys that you don't boo. You just understand.
Kind of got that Austin Stone Cold.
Yes. He's a guy who does dastardly things, but he's so entertaining and so energetic. And for a guy who wasn't even an indie wrestler, he was a college football player and came in and took to this business like he has and is just this generation's Booker T, for lack of a better comparison.
Really is a good way to describe him. It's not the Harlem Heat version.
Yeah. And my big thing is, number one, I'm a huge Aleister Black guy, so we need to push him to the fucking moon. If we're gonna put him in that triple threat, number one, it needs to be a fatal 4-way ladder match. Yes. I don't care. And you need to put, as much as I want Trick to win it, I think Trick's first title should be the WWE Championship. I think he's that good to where he can just skyrocket up there. To the WWE title, and I think Aleister Black with the U.S. title would make a lot of sense.
Can't disagree with Black having it. However, I think Trick would be a great person to have the U.S. title right now, but to change up the U.S. weekly U.S. open challenges, and spice things up a bit.
Yeah,
because he's the newest guy on the roster, and now he has the gold.
Yeah,
talk about a huge target on your back, not only to prove you should be there, but prove you're not a fluke.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of people that don't watch NXT have no idea about him and Melo's history. He was Melo's hype man for the longest time until Melo turned on him and it broke my heart. And, but this U.S. title picture to me right now feels like a big, gigantic fucking mess to where they've done this and people are expecting an open challenge every week and we're excited about that. And I'm not saying take that away. That needs to stay the way it is, because it's giving people TV time. But to have the same fucking 4 people in this title picture for over a fucking year is ridiculous. And it's the same thing with the IC championship. Right now, I couldn't even tell you what the fuck their game plan is with Penta. I don't know. And I'm not saying that Penta shouldn't have won the belt, but we're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year. We have no clear cut where that Intercontinental Championship is going to line up on that show.
I think it's going to stay in luchador hands for a while.
Yeah. I think
there'll be Americans or whoever, non-luchadors, going after it.
Yeah.
But the only people that will actually win it for a while will be just luchadors.
Yeah. I think they need to try to make that championship like a cruiserweight title in a way. Because we all know they're not going to give us a cruiserweight championship. They should have done that 10 years ago. They tried and it worked for a while and then they just fucking scrapped it. That's what makes me angry. And the one thing that really pisses me off about this is we have somebody like Chad Gable who is still being relegated, allegedly, to be a original El Grande Americano. It's still not confirmed, but that dude needs to lose that mask. Allegedly, if it is him under there. I don't know. We still don't know.
It was comical at first, but now it's just boring. He just
Yeah.
looks like a dumbass donkey out there.
Yes. And it's one of those things that it just needs to run its course.
Yep.
That really upsets me. But another thing that I want to talk about is this women's IC championship. Now, did they confirm a match for Mania for the IC women's
Yes.
championship?
Yes.
I missed who it was. Who's it going to be again?
It's going to be Becky versus AJ.
God damn it!
Yep. They're getting their Mania moment. Because after she fought Bailey, Becky came back out
Yep.
and went after. Well, then when AJ came out, or Becky came out the other night, and as soon as AJ came out to confront her, Becky took off running, and the rest of the conversation was AJ in the ring, Becky in the stands, and she finally said, "You know what? Fine. You want me at Mania? You got me at Mania."
Jesus, man, just you have so many young talent. Just what are we doing? Gosh.
Talk about this coming up Monday. That's gonna be one hell of a tag team title opportunity for the division.
Yeah.
And especially since Heyman confirmed that Breaker's not gonna be back for a while. Bronson Reed's not gonna be back for a while. So now you've got the two white boys that are, the internet famous ones, so to speak, instead of actual famous in the ring. But you got them that are going to be the ones that I think will actually win because of Jey Uso losing his cool.
Yeah.
They're going to take advantage of it.
I would argue to say CM Punk cost the Usos the title on Monday.
Just for payback, out of spite. Why not?
Yeah. Because as much as now you're not a big fan of the whole bloodline interference thing. To me,
I'm not. They do it way too much.
They do it way too much, and I can agree with that.
They've proven, exactly like Punk said the other night, he's not the one that needs help. Samoans need help to win a match. They cannot do it one-on-one.
Yeah. But I'm one of those guys. Yeah, Roman put him through the belt, and they were asking, "Are you okay?" And Punk's laughing, and he goes,
Yep.
I'm not the one that needs help."
That's so true.
It is true, but to me, man, when I tell you the bloodline, we were both at the peak. We were both watching. That storyline impacted me so much, and that group, to me, the greatest faction to ever exist, and this is going to show my age because a lot of people are going to disagree, is the original Bullet Club.
Yeah.
That is, to me, that's the greatest faction to ever grace professional wrestling.
It should be up there, the Mount Rushmore of factions. I'll give you that.
Yeah. And right next to them at number 2 for me is the Bloodline.
Well, do you think that coming up, I have a feeling Solo is going to lead the MFTs.
Yeah.
And with the way they've been kind of showing the original Bloodline the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I would say Mania, Solo leaves MFTs, or night after Mania, Solo leaves MFTs and goes back to original Bloodline.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Because the MFTs didn't work.
No.
As great as everybody in that group is, it didn't work. The whole feud with Wyatt is just pissing me off because it's taking a piss.
Like a new Nexus.
Yeah.
But ended up being worse than the core, in my opinion.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. And the thing that really makes me angry is with this whole Wyatt family bullshit that they're doing. To me, it's taking a piss on Bray Wyatt's legacy.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt, in my opinion, I mean, he's, for Christ's sakes, our firstborn child will be named after the man.
They should give them back the lantern too.
Yeah.
It's the story lost steam a long time ago.
Yeah.
Give it back to him and let's move on.
Yeah. And that, to me, that really frustrates me. This whole even the women's tag division, to me, it's just
a joke.
I knew as soon as Lash Legend, and don't get me wrong, that woman deserved the title.
Yes.
Just not with Nia Jax, the female botch machine. But I knew as soon as they grabbed the titles that getting any challengers to them, it's going to have to be some kind of fatal 5-way match in order for them to lose the titles.
Yeah.
And you're going to fill that in with everyone they've been trying to build this brand with, but you really don't have any good teams to go against.
No. And with that, we're so close to Mania that it's not even funny. We're 3 weeks away. 3 weeks goes by like that.
Next weekend's Easter, so.
Yeah. It's going to be the biggest weekend of the year for us as a show and as fans. So I'm very excited for the
Speaking
current.
of that,
No.
by the end of this week, there's something coming to the mail for you guys.
Okay.
And it's something, it's a, let's just say it's a Mania present.
Ooh. Ooh. My man's over here.
So it's something for you to have for a Mania weekend.
Oh no, I know what it is. Oh no, I know what it is. I just clicked on my head. I'm gonna
Shirts,
pop.
most likely.
No, I'll tell you when we are off air. I got a feeling. Oh man, that's gonna make the Mania experience fun.
Yeah.
So let's just touch on AEW real quick, and we'll wrap the show up.
All right.
I'm not saying they're losing steam, but this week for me was honestly probably the worst Dynamite of the year.
When you I totally agree with you on that.
Mhm.
But when you sit and look at how consistent they've been
Mhm.
since January 1st,
Yep.
then have one night off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, they still had great matches.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the big pop. The only real big thing this past week was the Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland match to see who was going to have the EVP title.
Yeah. And in my
I'm so happy it didn't switch. Because as great as that stipulation was, I really don't see things doing well if Swerve was with his attitude as the VP.
Oh, but that would work out perfect. See, that's where I disagree with you. I think the wrong person won because that adds a new layer. That's also blurring the lines between what's reality and what's a work.
It is.
And
It is.
so if you have this heel Swerve, you could have him lose to Will Ospreay, keep continuously losing. Because we all know that by the time Wembley comes around, Will Ospreay, if he's not in that world title match, I'm gonna fuck pissed.
Oh, yeah.
If he's fighting Moxley for that Continental Championship at Wembley Stadium again, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, you look at the stipulations that have happened so far this year. Hangman telling MJF, if I don't beat you for the title, I can never go for it again.
Yeah.
And then this past week, it was Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland for the EVP responsibility.
Yep.
So they're pushing boundaries. They have a bounty from MJF with the Don Callis family on anybody that could potentially be a threat to MJF.
Yeah.
And you've already seen Andrade's a little pissed off about that.
Yeah.
And I think that this year for AEW, it's going to be the almost obscene, ridiculous stipulations that could completely turn that company around either way.
I hate hearing shit.
And that needs to be a very careful time bomb they're playing.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it's the downfall could be of the company to where they lose a lot of viewership, or they could do a lot of great things.
If they do it right, congratulations. But that's a very dangerous game to play.
Mm-hmm. You don't want them to pull a WCW.
Exactly.
And just fuck everything up.
Exactly.
But the other thing that we didn't touch on that needs to be touched on, Obafemi and Brock Lesnar.
Now, see, now you're saving the best for last.
Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. Drew,
do you
you've
think
been
they
around.
will continue each week with having an Oba versus Lesnar clash?
I think so. I truly think so. But the thing that I want to ask you, and you've been watching wrestling for a long, long, long time.
Yep.
When is the last time to recent memory you can remember Brock Lesnar being put on his ass 2 weeks in a row? I can't recall ever.
Goldberg.
Yeah, but that
That's the
wasn't.
only other time it's happened.
I mean, yeah, but that wasn't like a week-to-week thing. It wasn't like 2 weeks in a row.
It was their two straight matches they had.
Yep.
It was the night before where he came out and dominated Brock.
Yep.
And it was the match where he actually got the title from him.
Yep.
He dominated. That's the only other time it's been 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Or I should say 2 interactions in a row.
Yeah. But in my recent memory, and I've been watching wrestling for almost 20 years now, which is holy shit. I cannot remember in my lifetime a moment where Brock Lesnar got put on his ass twice in the span of 2 weeks.
With the style of dominance where he wasn't able to get back up, just laying there flat.
Yeah.
Never.
Never.
Never. And with the extra added disrespect, even though you saw Lesnar tell him to do it, put his foot on his chest and then pointing up to the Mania sign.
Yeah.
That was genius.
Yes. And I think, and a lot of young fans now are going to start watching the product and they will see Obafemi as their version of Brock Lesnar. And
which 100%.
There's nobody better to fill those shoes than Obafemi.
And fingers crossed he never has any injuries that takes him out of this.
Yeah.
But actually, right. He is the Lesnar of this generation.
Yeah. And it's weird because normally when you see Brock Lesnar face a big guy like a Kane or a Braun Strowman, it's not really believable. Because in a real life situation, if an alien race came to planet and said, you send your best champion and we'll send our best one, like a Viltrumite war, I would send Brock Lesnar 10 times out of 10. He's a genetic fucking freak. But realistically, this is the only person that I can remember that showed up and is believable. Like, they built him up. And a lot of people are like, well, this is all out of nowhere. Right?
Be consistently believable, not just like a one night, hey, this guy might get lucky tonight.
Yeah.
It's no, he goes out there, he's going to destroy whoever's in his path.
Yeah. And that's the truth. And I see a lot of people online saying, well, this kind of just came out of nowhere. They're making Obafemi look like a monster without building him up. Are we forgetting the matches that he had before he interacted with Brock Lesnar? He took on both of the War Raiders in a handicap match and made them look like fucking cruiserweights.
He threw them around like he was tossing around 100-pound guys.
First of all, he's very toxic. He about killed my boy. He about killed my boy Kit Wilson.
And I wish he would have. Oh my gosh.
He's very, very toxic.
Can't stand that guy.
And another guy that's toxic is Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll is very toxic, and I don't know how to feel about it.
I really think now that he's got his first victory under his belt,
yeah,
he's joining Randy.
Yeah,
he's going to turn heel. He's going to betray Cody. That's what's going to get Cody to finally snap.
Yeah, but my only worry, and I'm all for Jelly Roll coming into the business. I think he did a better job in his singles match than he did his tag match. His selling was better. His interactions were better. And that sell from the RKO that he received on Friday was picture perfect.
No, that sell reminded me of when McMahon got his first stunner. It was all sorts of fucked up fall, but it was perfect for how big he is.
Yeah. I mean, it was just brilliant.
It looked more painful than normal.
Brilliant. But my only worry about him, he's good at being the good guy because everybody loves Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
I don't know how well he'll translate into being a heel.
I don't see it.
And I don't.
He's close friends with both of them.
Yeah.
To the point where he said, both of them are my brothers.
Yeah.
Brothers fight.
Yeah.
So it could just be, hey, Cody, we've proven time and time again, you can't fully commit to being the badass you're supposed to be. On the other side, Randy has no problem doing it. That's just flipping a switch as soon as he gets the go-ahead.
Yeah.
And we've already seen how he's brought back 09 version of Randy. This whole angel versus demon on one side, and Jelly Roll is trying to figure out who he's going to support.
Yeah.
Saying he's going to be out there for both of them. He's going to try to help both of them throughout the match of just giving support. But at the end, he's going to turn on Cody.
Yeah.
Whether unintentional or not, of, hey, I tried to help, and I'm sorry I got in the way. I lost you your title. I'm sorry. And that's going to turn into the other.
We talked about this before we got on the air, but there's one thing that I want to talk about on the show that I would do if I was booking this. Now, this is how fucked up I am. I know I'm going to get some comments in the comment section saying you need to have medication. In fact, I do. But
Look at mine now.
Fucking old.
How great would it be? She's a worker's daughter, right? She's a granddaughter of a son of a plumber. You know what I mean? She knows how the business works, and if she don't, she'll learn over the years. And I'm pretty sure she's got a pretty good grasp of it already. Can we see Randy Orton punt poor Liberty Rhodes' head off her shoulders?
I mean, that is going to be the one way to 100% turn Cody for sure.
Oh, yeah. Because dude, imagine it. Like, I can envision it in my head. Like, he's got Cody tied in the ropes, handcuffed to the ropes.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
even Brandy handcuffed to the ropes as well. And Liberty's out there, and she's trying to throw punches because she's Dusty Rhodes' granddaughter. She ain't nobody to play with. And then Randy Orton just kicks her head off
See,
her shoulders.
that would be the time though you also see the child get in the ring, and looking around like mama didn't raise a bitch.
Yeah,
I'm getting in there. I'm going to whoop ass the best I can. And then all of a sudden, you just see the foot go across her face.
yeah. Like it would be one of the most sick, sadistic things I think we've ever seen.
Because then we'll see Cody come back the same way that Shane McMahon came back and had his match with Randy after he punted Stephanie.
I mean,
That look in his eye like he was about to rip anyone's head off.
you really want to make your feud personal. You involve the loved ones of your enemy.
Oh, yeah.
Involve the kids.
Well, involve anybody. It could be Brandy, but to me,
Yeah. I think it'd be Brandy more than it'd be the kid.
I know
Yeah.
because that we probably legally couldn't get around that. But if I was booking it, I would
Brandy
pay
has the
Liberty Rose.
experience to be able to take a hit like that, too.
Yeah, whatever she wants. But she's in there with a veteran like Randy, so I know that
Oh, yeah.
Randy would take care of her. As a
Oh,
booker,
100%.
from my perspective, I would say, okay, she's in there with Randy Orton. She's gonna be fine. But if that happens, it's not gonna happen. But if it happened in my perfect world, we don't have Cody Rhodes come back with the babyface bleach blonde hair.
No.
We have Ring of Honor Cody come back and try to beat the hell out of Randy Orton and then lose the title.
What if he comes back, the dark hair,
Minutes.
that stupid tattoo removed from his neck?
God, I hope so.
It's so bad.
That's the one thing, he got asked in the interview, and we'll close the episode here in a second. That's the one thing, they said if you had to talk to Dusty right now, what would you say? And he was at a press conference. I believe it was a WrestleMania press conference when he won the title. And he said
Yep.
the first thing I would tell him, I would look at him and say, I'm sorry for the tattoo.
Yep.
He said, because I know Dad would be looking at me like, son, why would you do that? And he said, I don't think he would be against the logo being on my body because that's branding. That's his brand.
Right.
But it's just the placement. It's the
It would
placement.
have been better
for
on
me.
his chest.
Not just
Yeah.
the placement, but the size of it at that placement location.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on
Not even like
your
it's
other
not
foot.
even straight. It's like at an angle.
Yeah. And it's like, it just aggravates me. But Drew, I'm gonna close it out here with asking you this question. How excited are you for WrestleMania this year?
I'll let you know sooner because I want to know what's going to be on what night.
Yeah.
Because you would think they would have it to where the world title is on one night, the WWE title is on the other night.
Yeah.
But look who's fighting for it. Honestly, I feel like it should be start the show with one of them.
Yeah.
Start night one with one of them. End the show night two with the other. And have all the potential shit in the middle.
Yeah, but who main events night one if because is it crazy enough to say, and I could say this, and I don't know if WWE would do this. Could we main event that first night with Oba and Brock?
Yeah. But here's the problem with having two nights.
Yeah.
One night's always better than the other.
Yeah.
That's why AEW doesn't do two nights.
No, they just cram everything
They do
in
one event.
5 hours.
5 hours long, 6 hours long, whatever it takes. 13 matches.
Yep.
Even if you have to have some in the pre-show.
Yep.
That hurt.
Yeah, he's working out some foot injuries. But I'm gonna go ahead and close this episode, guys. Well, I'm excited for Mania. Like I said, like you said,
Don't get me wrong. I just don't know. Once I know who's on what night, that's when I'll be able to let you know exactly the level of excitement I'm in.
yeah, well, that will probably be my determining factor as well. But guys, we're gonna close this episode out. We love you guys so much. I'm gonna let Drew get back to his little physical therapy session. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you for being here. She's getting back in the saddle for wrestling. Although you're gonna miss this week because you won't be here. That's another
I'll be at Bethany's.
Yeah, that's another thing. So you're gonna miss Daredevil episode. Gosh. But yeah, I'm gonna close out this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.